Okay, and here I want to talk about PostgreSQL for Linux arbitrary code execution. So PostgreSQL is a widely used database system. It uses a primary database in Mac OS X system, but also has a version available for Windows and Linux. So in this specific experimentation, we are going to focus on a specific exploitation that involves the use of arbitrary code through a vulnerability in PostgreSQL. This vulnerability mainly exists on some developers PostgreSQL installations on Linux system. So this default Postgre installation service account may write to the TMT directory and be able to source UDF shared libraries from there as well, which in turn allows the execution of some arbitrary codes. So we will be using Metasploit Postgres payload module in order to carry out the execution of our exploit. So steps to carry out the experimentation are in here, open the virtual machine instance for Kali and Metasploitable. I try to log in first. Okay. In here, in Metasploitable, use ifconfig to get the IP address. In here, we got 68.65. In here, we do the same in Kali. Ifconfig. Okay. We try to ping the Metasploitable first, the target machine, in here, which is Metasploitable. Okay, in here we press Ctrl+C to stop the ping. Assuming we have our Metasploitable target machine set up, and we are currently in Kali, so we will run nmap to discover what is on our network and what ports are open. Using nmap p0655535 and the IP address of Meta. Okay, by doing this, we will be able to see that our Metasploitable machine has lots of service and ports open. In here, we use the PostgreSQL. The state is open on port 5432. So open Metasploit console on Kali using MSF console. Okay, search for the Postgres exploitation module using search PostgreSQL. By typing this, we will be able to see all the available tools in the Metasploit framework that are related to PostgreSQL. In this instance, we will use the Linux exploit Postgres payload, which is number 23 in here. So on the list, it has excellent rank, which means it's a high chance of success. So just type use 23. Okay, so Metasploit will default to using the Linux Meterpreter payload. Now type show options to view the settings you need to enter before running the exploit. So we need to set up the local host in here, local port. Where's this local port, and then this one and this one. So in our case, we already know our target database name and credentials, and both L port and R port are already correct, so we don't need to change the default set ones. This one, 5432, and this one is already correct. So we just need to set the L host, set a host and the IP address of Kali, because this one is the local. Okay. 68 and 67. Okay. And then we're gonna set the IP address of Meta. IP address of Meta. Okay, there you go. Okay, and here we type check to know whether the target machine is vulnerable or not. Okay, there you go, vulnerable. And then we're gonna set verbose to true to have a more verbose result after running the exploitation. So, okay, and then we're gonna run options. Okay, we will use options command again to see that everything is filled in. The airport, air host, local host, and local port. Okay. Just click exploit and then enter. And now you should now be in the Metasploit shell. To confirm the type, use sysinfo. There you go. This will tell you the details of the system we are now connected to. That's all. Thank you.
So now we're going to be moving on to the second program, which is Java RMI. So the Java remote method invocation, or Java RMI, is a mechanism that allows an object that exists in one Java virtual machine to access and call methods that are contained in another Java virtual machine. So this is basically the same thing as RPC, but in an object-oriented paradigm instead of a procedural one, which allows for communication between Java programs that are not in the same address space. So the vulnerability is due to the default configuration of the RMI registry and RMI activation services, allowing the loading of classes from a remote URL. So now we're going to be starting on the steps on how to exploit the Java RMI program. So first of all, you need to set up your machines. So make sure to open VM instances for Kali and Metasploitable too. So in Metasploitable, you can use ifconfig to get the IP address, and in Kali, do the same thing by typing in ifconfig to get the local IP address, which is right here. Okay, so now you're going to be pinging each other IP addresses. So in Meta, you're going to be pinging Kali IP address, and then you can press Ctrl+C to stop the pinging, and in Kali you're going to be pinging Meta's IP address, and then you can press Ctrl+C to stop the pinging. Okay, so now after you have both VMs set up, you can go to Kali Linux, and before starting the exploitation process, we are first going to discover the vulnerabilities of the Java RMI. So this can be done by scanning the target with Nmap, which is the most popular port scanner. So you just need to type in this command right here, where this is the IP address of our target machine, or Metasploitable 2. And then click enter, and you can see here that the Java RMI, or RMI registry service, is running on port 1099, and you can see here that it is open in our case. So now with Nmap Script Engine, or NSE, you can also verify the same vulnerability by typing the command So in here, this is our target IP address, and here is the port that the Java RMI service is currently running on, which is 1099. And here you can see that the state is vulnerable, which means that the target system contains security vulnerabilities that are exploitable by us. Okay, so now you're going to be loading up the Metasploit framework by typing in msf console as a command. And then you're going to do a search for Java_RMI by typing in search Java_RMI. And here you can see the various modules related to Java RMI. So for scanning, the best module is this one right here. And then for exploitation, which we are going to do after this, the best module is this one right here. Okay, so now we're going to be using the module for scanning by simply typing in use2, which is this one right here. And then we're going to view the settings by typing in show options. And we're going to define the R host and also the R port. So to do that, you can simply type set R host and this one here is the IP address of your target machine. And then you're going to set our port to 1099, which is the Java RMI port. And then you need to type in the command run. And we can see here that the scanner detected a Java RMI endpoint on port 1099. And this suggests that the target machine may be vulnerable. So now that we have identified the vulnerabilities, we can begin to exploit the program. So to do so, you're going to be searching Java RMI again by typing in this command. And then now we're going to be using the exploit module, which is this one. So to do so, just type in use1. And then here you can see that there are no payload configured yet. And we need a payload to exploit the program. So to do so, you need to type show payloads. And then here you can see the various payloads, but we are going to be using this one right here. So you need to copy, and then you need to type set payload, and then paste the previous payload that you have copied before. And then now you're going to type in show options to see the various options related to the module. And here we are going to be defining the R host and also the R port again. So you're going to be typing in set R host to the IP address of your target machine, and then set R port to Java RMI port, and then you can exploit now by typing in exploit. And we can see here that the exploit started a handler on our system, sent the RMI method to call the target, and that a meter session was successfully opened, as seen here. So now that the meter is open, we can use commands like sysinfo, shell, getuid, and so on to see that the user that meter is running on the target, and sysinfo to display information about the target. So let's try by typing in sysinfo, and here you can see the details of the system that we are now connected to. So that is all for the second program. Thank you.